switch your slide log real quick if you need the next slide.
Gonna fall, Dayton. You need to tilt it.
There we go.
Do you see you? Okay. Start timer.
Now you can see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Today we will be talking about how to differentiate skeletons. So the case. Hello? I was fishing at the river and when I was walking to the bank, I saw a washed up body. Oh my! Okay, so that's just a scenario. I'm a really bad actor, but I was trying. So, each year there are a lot of homicide and murder investigations, and unfortunately, since a lot of them aren't even discovered yet, they turn into skeletons like this. So today we will be learning how to identify skeleton gender and ethnicity based off the structures of the skeleton. Continue.
Sorry.
So first we will start in the pelvis. Male pelvises are usually narrower and smaller in size. They're good for a strong support system. Men are usually heavier on top because of arm muscles and chest muscles. Good for lifting. So they have a narrow, strong support system for pelvis. Females have usually wide hips. It's good for childbearing, which that's pretty self-explanatory. So if you look at the image below, on the male pelvis, the ischial portion of the pelvis, it's usually a little bit narrower between the male and the female. You can see the gap, the size difference here. Also, the key identifier between the male and female is this little pubis region. Males are 90 degrees or smaller. Females are usually 100 or bigger. So think of it as males acute, females obtuse. Continue. The frontal bone. Men usually have a slanted back frontal bone as well as a permanent brow ridge, which is the eyebrow, where the eyebrows, if there were skin, would lay. Females have a rounded frontal bone, and their brow ridge is less noticeable. If you look at the image here, you can see that the brow ridge is really protruding out, and the angularity here is slanted backwards. Meanwhile, the female is rounded here, and the brow ridge, there really isn't any brow ridge. Continue. Ethnicity, it's a little bit more difficult. There's a small variation between the bone structures to identify, and also there's a lot of mixed genders and mixed races. For instance, a Caucasian with an African having a baby would be as I like to call a mixed person. Continue. So the first key identifier is the mandibular structure, so the jaw. Asians typically have a very flat mandible. If you were to place it on a table, it'd be like this, no wobbling. If it were a Caucasian or African, it would be more like this type of movement on a flat surface. Of course, so it's pretty easy to identify an Asian because of this aspect. However, if you're trying to identify the difference between a Caucasian and an African person, it's a little bit more difficult because both of them kind of slant upwards, causing that swaying motion. So another aspect to be able to identify ethnicity is their nasal structure. Continue. If you look at these are African male and female, Asian male and female, and Caucasian male and female. African nasal structures typically have a very round nose, very wide opening. If you look at a Caucasian, they have generally a narrow, it looks kind of like a, what's it called? Like an upside down heart. And then Asians, they have the most symmetric type of nose, generally. Very thin vomers, which are these little bones right here. And yeah, that's how you can identify ethnicity through that aspect. Also their orbital structure. So in a European, they typically have aviator sunglass type of structures. So typically rectangular and then a little bit of a rounding around the zygomatic maxillary region. On an Asian, they typically have very circular orbits. As you can see, it's mostly circle, not a lot of sharp angles. And then on a African person, as you can see, they have very sharp angles, most resembling a rectangle. Continue. So test. Okay. Mama, can you identify the gender of the skeleton?
They're only not, no, because they're broken apart and it's covered.
Okay, you can also view, so right here, where
I'm gonna say male though because the eyes, he's a European.
so a male,
I mean, look at his eyes. They've got the, what's it called? The
aviator style,
yeah.
correct?
So and the head looks like it's kind of.
Slanted backwards.
So I think it's a male.
So you could identify it as a male through its slanted back frontal bone, as well as it has
And the
more of a
eyes.
protruding
And the nose.
Brow ridge.
And the
ridge.
nose too.
Yes, the nose is also it's an upside down heart. Continue. Identify the ethnicity, Dad.
Is this a different one?
No.
I would say European.
Okay, a Caucasian. Could you explain why it is a Caucasian?
Well, because like you just said, it's a heart-shaped, upside-down nose, and the eye sockets,
Okay,
The
and
shape of them.
what did you say?
the shape of them,
And what shape is that?
like more squarish and rounded.
So that they would call that in forensics as an aviator style.
Okay.
Continue.
European.
Good job. So now you guys have learned how to identify gender and ethnicity based on skeletal structures. You are now able to solve crimes and get in with the forensic anthropologists and the medical examiners. It's pretty exciting.
Dr. G.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you and have a good evening.
You too.
Evening. My class is doing